Guys, Romie here, so please like, comment, subscribe. This is my review for the haves and the have-nots. Sorry I don't have my usual get-up. I said, ooh, this was a good episode too. So let me go and make it a little bit more personal. So in the bed, lay down. The episode, I'm calling it Season 5, Episode 7, just because, why not? Just stay with the whole rubric if you guys been watching. Some will say Season 6, some will say something else, whatever. Every 6 months. So the episode starts off with Candice going and wailing on Quita. Wailing on Queenie. Wailing on her. When I tell you I thoroughly enjoyed that, and Candice was doing the whole monkey stomping. I said, this is amazing. Do it. She deserves it. Oh, crackhead. I said, oh, so we're doing that? Okay. But in comes, George. So George, the DA, comes in, and George decides, why don't I go take Candice in and question her? I'm still questioning you for the murder of Quincy Maxwell. Candice's like, I don't know what you're talking about. You did it. I'm telling you how you did it. You decided you'll bring in Jeffrey and possibly even the third person in. You two will go kill him, stab him, bury the body. Candice said, there isn't a case, but if there was, the evidence can't be used because the body was dug up while, before the warrant was cleared. I mean, the house wasn't even in my name. What am I doing here? Long story, very short. He was trying to see what he can get out of her. Candice is Candice, so she wasn't letting him have anything. He was like, well, you know what? Jeffrey Harrington's in here. What about him? Well, I know the sheer accomplice. I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, he's going to go and snitch. You know he's going to go and snitch. Trust and believe that boy will snitch on you fast. She's like, there's nothing to snitch on. So what are you talking about? Oh, okay. But you're free to go. What do you mean I'm free to go? You're free to go. I'm thinking, what do you mean she's free to go? At first I thought, was that Charles doing? But it seems like Landon doesn't even know what's going on with Candice right now. It's someone else. And I'm thinking, oh Lord, if it's Veronica, if Veronica really got Candice out of jail. So next thing we know, George leaves. In comes Jeffrey. Jeffrey's there and he's just like, hey. And she's like, hey. And then that conversation got very awkward, very weird, very quickly because Jeffrey, clearly he's mentally done. So now he's trying to ask Candice questions. He says, she's trying to remind him that the room is bugged. Watch what you say. Watch very carefully. And he just doesn't care. He just has this whole vibe of, yeah, I know the room. I know they're listening to us. I don't care. And Candice is looking at him like, boy, if you don't get it together and you don't get it together fast, you hear me? Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Okay. But Jeffrey's just like, why don't you just go and admit it? I mean, why don't you just go and admit what you did? I said, admit what she did. Well, what did she do? And now I'm acting like Candice. Well, what did she do? Because she didn't do anything. Right, Jeffrey? It's like, man, it's interesting because why are you in here? Why are you in here? I know my mother went and she got me arrested, but why weren't you brought in the same time that I was brought in? Are you two working together? So now we have this whole conundrum of Jeffrey is so mind-bleeped that he's convinced that Candice is working with Veronica, that they have a side deal. And I said, yeah, you're right, but that's not the point. You're right, but that's not the point. You're not doing that here. So he's almost trying to see how much he can get out of her in order to go and just make sure that it doesn't look like whatever you guys think. It wasn't just me. It wasn't just me. Candice gets to leave. Jeffrey's still looking like, oh, so now you get to go. And she's like, yeah, I get to go. Play your cards right, you can go too. She didn't say that, but she gave him that look of, don't get brand new and don't get cute out in here. While Candice is leaving or getting processed down, she's putting on her shoes. She has her nice big, her nice big bag. Big. One of the officers was saying, it's interesting because there's no paperwork, there was no nothing. I've never seen someone just processed in and out so quickly. It's weird. It's so weird. She said, oh, well, what friends do you have? Don't worry about who I know and who I don't know. Have a nice day. I said, oh, God, Candice. Candice. So then Candice goes and sees David. And David was just like, Miss Young. David. You imbecile. He's trying to figure out, so you were in here because of, I was in here because of something stupid, something foolish, something generic. Now I'm trying to think to myself, because they're also dropping the whole thing of Candice was arrested because of the guy who she was solicited. I'm saying, was that whole thing made up? Was that whole thing a scam? Was that guy undercover and they're trying to get Candice? Like, what's really going on here? I don't know. Anyway, David's trying to do his best to get Candice to go and help Jeffrey out, to go and be a good person, to be a kind person, to be a person that will help them. This is Candice we're talking about. That's not going to happen. That's not realistic. Candice says, look, your wife went and got him in there. You can go and get him out. I'm out. I didn't do anything. She was like, my son helped you. He went through all that stuff. Your son did whatever he wanted to do. I did not coerce him into doing anything. He did what he did. So now I'm out of jail and he's still in there. Well, for all that he's done to help you out, you're just going to leave him in there? Yeah. How could you? What type of person? Yeah. Person would do that. Candice would. Miss Young would. The person that you, that took Jim's money and then you aided in taking the money back, and they had that conversation too. So after that, please, Candice wasn't going to do a darn thing for David. Let's be very clear about that. And so we move on, because I'm thinking, David, are we going to pretend like, so that's all water under the bridge? Just because you're used to people taking advantage of you and treating you like trash doesn't mean that everyone else has to go and do that and be that accommodating and understanding. So then we see Landon. He's talking to his new BFF, it goes down because Landon's clearly preoccupied and distracted. Landon's BFF was just like, so you're in love with him. You're in love with the president and you just don't want to admit it. Landon's looking at her like, I ain't in love with no one. I'm just in love with this check. And she said, nope, that's not it. You're in love with him, but you realize he's a straight future president of the United States. Landon said, well, what about your married senator boyfriend? I said, ooh. He got you there. He didn't even do anything yet with Charles. Or, I mean, to Charles, I should say, because Charles doesn't want him. Charles doesn't want the man. She looked at him like, oh, that was below the belt. He said, well, look at what you're trying to insinuate. Look at what you're trying to do. And you're trying to say that, oh, what I'm doing is below the belt. No. So that conversation ended pretty much like that because it was petty. It was petty. It was entertaining for 2.5 seconds. And I moved on. Moved on to to Catherine's house. So Hannah's still talking to Derek, and she's telling the story about this churchgoer, this old man, actually. He was praising the Lord, and then he praised her bosom as he grabbed them. She pushed him away and said, no, to God be the glory. The devil is a liar. I rebuke thee in the name of Jesus. But anyway, they had a nice time. It was cute. He said, so can I take you out to dinner? She said, what about that coffee? He had to remind her, you're the one that said that this is supposed to replace the coffee. Hannah. She said, all right, we can go on a date, but nowhere fancy. I don't have any fancy clothes. Oh, what happened? I said, the fire happened. But no, nowhere fancy, okay? Okay, nowhere fancy. So that's nice. Hannah has her a little thing on the side. She looking cute. He's looking ready. ready to do whatever she wants. So Catherine doing her eavesdropping. She has to scoot back to her couch. I'm thinking, why is that living room so small, even though Catherine's house is so huge? Anyway, it was for olden times, plantation times, back in the daytime. So we're gonna move on from that. Now, Catherine's trying to figure out, so why do you want to go anywhere fancy? I mean, you deserve. She said, I know I deserve. I know I'm worth it. I just don't have anything nice. That fire. Oh, yeah. Well, I can hook you up. I can get my stylist here. Hannah, I'm your friend. Let me do this for you. Please, I'm rich. I'm not going to take no for an answer. So Hannah's going to go help the new maid. And Catherine's going to make some calls and hook Hannah up. I said, cool. Queenie finally gets out of jail. I'm thinking, who bailed her out? And it was Oscar. So this conversation was wretched because Queenie is talking about how don't I want to go. I want to go. I want to go. I want to go. I want to thank you for your service of getting me out of jail, mister. Do you want to have hanky-panky in the car behind the bushes? I'm thinking, he looked at her like, no. I just want you to go and tell me what the code for White Crier. You robbed. I know you robbed him. I'll go and tell his police right now to take you back in there. Okay. Look, I tried putting it in, but it didn't work. His money overseas. And I couldn't. We couldn't touch it. She said, okay. He said, okay, fair enough. Well, I'm going to give you my card and $500. And if anything else comes to mind, you'll go and let me know, right? You'll go and let me know, right? Right? Oh, yeah. Well, so, I'm fine with doing some hanky-panky. So if you want to go in the car behind the bush. Oh, I don't want it. Oscar was like, no, you're not my type. No, go away. I said, crackhead tendencies. Jeez. So Oscar, making sure that he covers all his bases, he went and talked to this police officer. Because remember, he needs to do some really, really sneaky mess. He needs to do some, let me go and get this money real quick. This officer helped him out before. So this is more so a re-up. Now we have David. He finally caves. He calls Veronica. And he was like, our son is in jail. What are you going to do about it? Look. That girl wanted men, right? So I put him in a place where there's all the men he could. I said, Veronica. Ma'am. Veronica. Come on now. And he was just like, Veronica, what? How could you do this? How could you be this way? Well, David, I wanted to ask you a question. Were you the one that went and bulldozed me and got me off, and got my car ran off? What? What is either you, Catherine, or Jim? And you not answering the question, is that an admission of guilt? David's looking at the phone like, admission of these nuts? No, I didn't do anything to you. Is it because in retaliation, because that look, if I find out you're lying to me, I'm going to come after your little hoe. I said, what? Who? Oh, Erica, that's right. So you leave the hospital, and as soon as your ex calls you, or your soon-to-be ex, your mind goes straight to the gutter. Tragic. It's tragic and trash all at the same time. Poor David. He's just trying to get his son out of jail. His ex-wife won't let his family be great. He had to ask her, were you drinking? Were you on that stuff? Were you on that stuff? She looked at him and said, every single day. I sure is. I sure is. The conversation ends because Veronica again's doing the whole thing with Jeffrey. It was like, you know what? Yeah, I put her in jail to be with all... You're really going to disrespect your own flesh and blood like that? Yeah, I guess so. So why he calls the police? Well, he calls his credit card company, and he said $3,000 or $3,700 was taken out of the account. I need for it to be placed back. They said they need a police report. He says, okay. He calls back the number, and of course it's Oscar who picks up. But I was surprised. Wyatt isn't that dumb. Maybe that's what sobriety's doing for him, because he said, no, I'll come there in person and do it. I said, so how's this going to work? And then I realized, oh, Oscar already thought of that. He already has a man on the inside. Next thing we know, we see Mitch. He brings Benny to Malone hangout, and we meet a dude. And the dude was like, what are you here for? We're here for a loan. Oh, so you're here for some money? What's going on? Well, it's actually more so it's for him, my friend Benny here, to get a truck. And well, you know, we need a loan. He was like, no. And then Mitch had to go and say, oh, it's because he's black. I said, oh, so your whole family except for you is pretty much racist? Is that what's going on? And he's like, yeah, it is. I'm looking at Benny like, okay, we can go. If God didn't give you enough warning signs like, well, thank you so much for considering me. I will take my business, my black self elsewhere. But no, Benny sat there. He listened to all of this. Mind you, why does everything finally look like it's really in HD? Like the wardrobe department got a new budget because all the clothes, they look like they cost some money. They just gleam. The material looks thick. It looks like it costs money. So shout out to Todd. The sets look different. I said, okay. About darn time, but okay. Next thing we know, Benny's like, Mitch had to go and say his sister's Candice. What? Yeah, the one that brought war? That's your sister? Yeah. But what did she do? Oh, I'll tell you about it later. I'm thinking, wow, Benny, you're so out of the loop. Watch when Benny finds out that Candice set up and Mitch helped to kill war. There's just so much. There's still so much that needs to drop. So he says he needs $45,000 to buy a truck. And the guy was like, yeah, that's no problem. I have it right here. Gives it to him and says, okay, you have 6 months. And that's 25% interest. 25% interest. $25% interest. That is beyond ridiculous. That is beyond crazy. The fact that I would have been like, if I was Benny, I would have been like, look, thank you again. I really appreciate everything that you've done for me. But at the end of the day, that's too steep. That's too steep. That's too rich for my blood. Sorry, I can't handle all that. I think I'll take my business elsewhere. Because Benny was saying how, oh yeah, that's no problem. I got it. I can do it. Mitch is looking at him like, are you sure? Because the whole thing was, if you take that money and you leave, then nothing's ever the same. Benny was like, that's the whole point. I mean, this is great. They gave up the money that fast, opportunity. Mitch is trying to tell him, dude, you don't know what you just signed up for. Benny has to now go to Veronica because Veronica was like, you know, I want to talk about something really important. And he said, okay, I'll be there. Candice, because she knows where Erica lives, Candice walked in there, even though she was dressed the way she did. Candice was in this position. She struck a pose and position as if she was like church mother, not even church mother. If she was a nun. I said, if I didn't know any better, I thought that Candice was saved, that she was a nun. She just had that angelic pose. Back straight, eyes wide open, head slightly down. I said, So then she walks in and said, oh, this is nice. So game plan. New game plan. I don't need the money. I want all of the money. David pissed me off. I already knew that I didn't like him, but now it's confirmed. So I want all of his money. You're going to go and get all of his accounts. You're going to go and drain all of his money. He doesn't have furniture yet? Okay, make him get furniture because you know they're going to sell that. They're going to sell that whole place. She wants to ruin his life. I'm thinking, you really think Erica is capable of doing that? You really think Erica is capable of doing that? That's what pissed me off with the whole scene. You think that Erica is capable of doing that? Okay. Okay. So when she flops and when she flips on you, don't be surprised, Candice, because that woman's afraid of you, but trust and believe, if she feels like even for a moment, David will go and protect her, she's going to flip on you. And now David has a vested interest in personally not liking you. You're building way, way too many enemies. Landon was, of course, servicing Charles. Landon was trying to take off Charles' shoes. Charles was like, I'm not a baby. Landon flipped and said, look, you're the president, so people are going to be trying to do everything for you left and right. Charles just wants his kids to be okay. Landon thought that he was talking about Candice, but no, I want my kids to be okay. I want my kids to be affected. He's doubting himself. He's doubting himself. He's unsure of himself. I said, that's great. That's cute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm seeing this commercial for Ayana Van Zandt. Trina and Gabe are oh, this is going to be a mess. So Trina and Gabe are going to be on there, as well as, why is Hazel E there? What the, let's have a, okay, now we're talking about the foolishness again. So anyway, what was I saying? Because now it's, Landon realizes that Charles isn't interested. Charles doesn't need anything else. He's like, look, I'm good. Thank you. Poor Landon. Poor Landon. Like, I really care. After that, we have Wyatt. He gets to the police station and the cop takes him in. Oscar was there watching. So the cop says, I need your bank information and I also need your cell phone because we need to see, make sure it was tracked. Gets the phone. Gets his $1,000 from Oscar. Oscar leaves with the phone and then the officer just goes in the opposite direction. So I'm thinking, so when is Wyatt going to realize, is Oscar going to clone the phone or does he just have it? Because that doesn't make sense to me. I need answers for that. Sarah goes back to Jim and gets him all of the information on the case. So the DA is going to be pissed, but Jim's like, that's going to be funny. I wish I could see his face. She's like, well, I have to work with him, so that's going to be a problem. It was weird. I couldn't tell if Sarah was disappointed that Jim didn't want any more hanky-panky, or if Sarah was just, dreading the fact that Jim might want some hanky-panky. Jim told her to go home. She was like, well, if I go home, are you just going to call? He said, I'll do whatever I want, but right now just go home. While he's laughing. I said, if this isn't some sexual assault type of mess. We're at home with Veronica, and Veronica is dealing with the troubled Melissa. Melissa is giving her a very hard time. Benny comes over, and Veronica's like, come in, because Melissa's tired of you, old. And Veronica looked like she was ready to go and whoop her. Melissa was making googly eyes at Benny. Benny was like, hey, what's up, what's good? Melissa was getting blocked left and right. I said, look at how Melissa just got herself. They gave her a long wig, changed up the clothes, changed up the makeup a little bit. I don't care. Everyone says she even looks like she lost a little bit of weight in the face because she was always slimmish, but maybe it's because of the bigger hair that's framing her face differently. But, you can tell she's feeling herself. She keeps digging away at Veronica like, he doesn't want that dusty. don't you want that dusty dried up? I said, not dried up. Veronica, you owe her 5 minutes. You owe her 5 minutes. You owe her 5 minutes for that one. Veronica gets Benny upstairs, and Benny's trying to figure out what's going on. Veronica says, look, your sister and my son are both in jail, and it's only a matter of time before they go and connect us with you. I can protect you. And I'm thinking, is this some, I can protect you, but you need to sleep with me in order to assure that? We know that Benny is fine with that because she's rubbing up on him. He's all over him. He's excited. He's like, oh, no, we shouldn't be doing this. As he's taking off his clothes, David comes in because Melissa was just like, the door's open. I ain't no maid. Oh, come in here. I said, oh. Like, what's good? David said, where's Veronica? Melissa said, where's your manners? He said, I'm sorry, where is Veronica? She's upstairs in her room. Well, where is that? It's the first room on the... Actually, I'll go and bring you up there. So he goes, brings her up there. I mean, she goes, brings him up there. She is able to break open the door because she breaks the lock. Benny's on top of Veronica getting down. And David just has to look of... Veronica looks happy. Benny looks confused. Melissa just cackling with her eyes. So that's it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Come back next week.